Good evening. Tonight we have a full board meeting, but first let's have Rialto High School DSAC student and ASB ambassador, Edward Ortiz, please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Place your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, President Montes.
Thank you, Edward. And unfortunately, we will not be reporting out of closed session. We will be reconvening back into closed session after we adjourn this meeting. With that, do we have a motion to adjourn closed session or postpone it till the end of the meeting?
I'll make the motion to temporarily postpone it until we reconvene at the end of this session.
Do we have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now we're beginning our open session. I'd like to begin with first welcoming everybody here tonight. We've got a full house, so that means good news. I'd like to start with a roll call vote, and first and foremost, I'd like to start with our student board member. Marisa Angulo is here, present. Then to my left, we have our board clerk, Dina Walker, present. Of course, we've got our interim superintendent, Mr. Islam, our vice president, Mrs. Nancy O'Calley, school board member, Mr. Joe Martinez, and school board member, Mr. Joe Ayala, and myself, Edgar Montes, board president. We're going to move on to adoption of the agenda, but we do have some items that need to be addressed. I believe there's some typos, a couple typos, or maybe a few typos we need to correct. The first item in reference H 6.1 regarding an agreement with Design West Engineering. Needs to be a correction made on tonight's agenda from the last two words in on the bottom paragraph reads to be paid with LCAP funds. That needs to be stricken and replaced with RDA funds. So if anyone would like to make a note of that on their agendas, and we are acknowledging that correction before we approve tonight's agenda.
Did you give the reference number?
Yes, H 6.1. The other correction, two more corrections actually, in reference J 3.1, under temporary administrative assignment, there needs to be a correction on the date, which reads February 19th. It needs to be stricken and corrected to February 26th. And on the same page down at the bottom, there's a date regarding extra compensation, and the date needs to be corrected from February 23rd to February 26th. Now with those corrections, do we have any other comments or concerns regarding adoption of tonight's agenda? Okay, do we have a motion to approve tonight's agenda as corrected?
I move that we accept the corrected agenda. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Preferential vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Next on to presentations, and the first will be our high school district student advisory committee DSAC presentation. Take it away, our student board member, Ms. Angulo.
Thank you, Mr. Montes. Good evening, everyone. Our first presenter will be Edward Ortiz from Rialto High School.
Good evening, Honorable Board of Education, Interim Superintendent Mr. Islam, and viewing audience. My name is Edward Ortiz, and I am the proud ASB ambassador from Rialto High School, here to inform you all about the great things happening on our campus. This school year, the Rialto Knights have had a crazy year with so many new events to attend and enjoy themselves in. However, this school year has not all been fun and games. This year, the Rialto Knights were faced with the challenge of preparing for one of the most important events to ever come to Rialto High School. That is the long-awaited visit of the Western Association of Schools and Colleges, also known as WASC. WASC is widely known throughout the district as the determining factor of whether or not a school receives accreditation to be able to award deserving students with valid high school diplomas. After a long period of preparation and anticipation, we can finally say we're ready. WASC will be visiting our campus March 1st through 4th, and the Knights of Rialto High School are anxiously awaiting. Our Knight athletes have also put in long hours of hard work and dedication to the Rialto High School athletic program, proving to be among the best athletes in the league by having every single one of our winter sports teams earn a spot in the CIF playoffs. Our boys basketball team made RHS history by becoming the first ever boys basketball team to finish off the season first in the league. We're all extremely proud of you. Finally, I would like to say that our annual Battle of the Sexes week is coming along with the Sadie Hawkins dance. Tickets are now on sale, and girls all over campus are beginning to ask that one special guy they've had their eye on all semester. I'm still waiting. Thank you all for your time. Have a safe drive home, and have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next presenter is Karen Bustamante from Carter High School.
Good evening, honorable board members, interim superintendent Mr. Islam, and viewing audience. My name is Karen Bustamante, and I'm the student representative at Carter High School. We've had many achievements this second semester, and it's only been 2 months. 3 talented seniors were granted full rights to the universities of their choosing. Paul Trujillo Langdon, Dejan McFoy, and Zamora Ziegler were our 3 athletes that were granted these scholarships. Our sports teams this year faced a tough challenge as we entered the CBL League for the first time. Our girls basketball team and our boys wrestling team both made it to CIF this year. Also, one of our girl wrestlers on our first girl wrestling team placed second place in CIF this year. Aside from our athletes at Carter, you can't forget about our amazing scholars. Our science department turned in amazing science fair projects last week, and we did not come home empty-handed. We placed first and second place in the science fair, as well as first place in the water district projects. Not only did they win first place, they also won $1,000 for their project. Next Friday, Carter ASB and our cheer squad will be dancing it off at our high school musical themed pep rally. We are all in this together to get through these last few months of our school year, and our seniors are eager to start our senior activities. This school year is coming to an end, but we are still sticking together to make it through the year as one big Lion family. Also, a big thank you to Mr. Hardy Brown for the amazing field trip at the Black Voice Foundation, as he showed us the many artifacts of the Black culture to represent Black History Month. Thank you for your time.
Are there any students I may have missed? No? Okay, well then this will conclude our DSAC presentations. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have special recognition for Rialto and Eisenhower High School student participants in the academic decathlon, and our Vice President, Ms. Nancy O'Calley, and Board Clerk, Ms. Walker, will be presenting.
Sorry.
Good evening. This is exciting that we had students who not only participated but placed in the academic decathlon, as well as we want to recognize the wonderful teachers who helped them get there. So first I'll read this blurb here. On February 7th, 2015, Redlands East Valley High School hosted the 32nd annual academic decathlon and approximately 22 San Bernardino County public and private schools participated, with a total of 35 teams competing. Students wrote essays, prepared and presented impromptu speeches, and interviewed with the judges. The theme for the 2015 Academic Decathlon was New Alternatives in Energy, Ingenuity, and Innovation. The annual event is sponsored by the San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools and includes competitions from grades 9 through 12, which compete over 2 weekends as individuals and as team members. Each team is composed of 9 students, 3 from each grade point category, and includes 3 honor, which have GPAs of 3.75 to 4.0, 3 scholastic, which have GPAs from 3.0 to 3.74, and 3 varsity, which are GPAs from 0, which I hope that's nobody, to 2.99. Students accumulate individual and team points in written events in mathematics, economics, art, music, language, literature, social science, and super quiz. We are proud to report that Rialto USD had 2 high schools compete in this year's competition. Eisenhower High School decathletes were coached by first-year coach and Ms. Susana Hidalgo and entered 1 team in the competition. Rialto High School decathletes were coached by veteran coach Mrs. Betsy Mariani and her assistant, her son, Mr. Matt Mariani. Entered 2 teams, Rialto White and Rialto Black, in the competition. Rialto High School ranked 10th overall in the competition among the 35 teams. Our district is very proud of the efforts of both schools, and we thank our teachers, coaches, and parents who support our students in the academic decathlon. When I call your name, please come up to receive your official certificates from the Board of Education. Okay, so please come up and stay standing so we can have a Kodak moment. Okay, the first certificate is for Miss Susana Hidalgo for excellence in academic decathlon coaching. Next is Marisa Vasquez, excellence in academic decathlon participation. Next is Dylan Thompson from Eisenhower, excellence in academic decathlon participation. Okay, also from Eisenhower, Ulysses Reynoso. Amber Reveles. Nayeli Lopez Andrade. Derek Estrada. Yay! We have one. Kimberly Cardenas. John Paul Abadines. Okay, and I believe that's all from Eisenhower. So let's give a big round of applause for the Eisenhower Academic Decathlon team. Huh?
Is Scott out there? Is Scott out there, the principal? Cindy's out there. Send Cindy.
Also, the rep for the San Bernardino County Area D is in the house. If
I need to treat this. It's a public meeting, so I'm allowed students.
Mr. Hardy Brown.
Okay. Big smile for Twitter world. 1, 2, 3. And one more. And let me get one from a real camera.
Okay, now we're going to present. There were two teams from Rialto High School, so this is a few more names. Betsy Mariani. Oh. This is the coach of the academic decathlon team. And for assisting her in coaching the academic decathlon team, her son, Matt Mariani. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Maith Carrillo. Serena Villapondo. Miguel Ledesma. We're trying to get this organized. Alexandra Rivas. Evan Flores. Jenny Mata. Eduardo Rivas. Giselle Torres. Nathan Silva. Jesus Huerta. Macy Matasukawa. Did I get it? Was I close? Okay. Elizabeth Cardona. Edward Segura. Kimmy Wah. Annabelle Avila. Andrew Franco. Frederick Martinez. Annabelle Guzman. Christian Valles. Nestor Enriquez. Jesus Jimenez. Luis de la Cruz. No. Esmeralda Suarez. Natalie Luna. double check. Not Evan Flores. Is it Flores? Oh, okay. Not Luis. Okay. We will fix that. And until then, just hold a fake certificate. This is Kevin Lee, and we.
Entire board on this one because they ranked 10 overall. Board of Education, can you come up, please? Okay, thank you.
I have to give Rialto High School kudos. I don't know if any of you were there the other night at science.
Okay, everybody can get a little bit closer. Thank you. And I know. Yeah, I'm gonna take the lead over there. Mrs. O'Kelly, let me see you.
Turn your face to the other way.
Everybody smile. And I need one for Twitter land. Just give me one. Okay. And one more. Thank you very much. Yeah, Mrs. O'Kelly.
They were so full of spirit inside of it. It was wonderful. Oh, did you?
Let's give all the students another round of applause there.
I never got this page.
We're doing good things here in Rialto, you know, and our kids' actions prove it.
Ah, okay.
Thank you again, Vice President Ms. O'Calley and Board Clerk Dina Walker. Next up, we have a special presentation regarding our special education revitalization project progress report presented by Ms. Joanne Murphy, strategic consultant for schools. And it's Ms. Murphy and Mr. Doyle.
Good evening. We got sucked into the academic decathlon vortex as they were leaving, so it took us a minute to get in. It's really exciting to be here, and it's super exciting to listen to the student reports. Very articulate, impressive. Thank you. And really exciting to see the academic decathlon achievements. So really applaud the district for doing great things for kids. So Joanne Murphy and I are here tonight to provide a status update on the work we're doing with the great team in special education, the special education department. We also have provided Mr. Islam a detailed summary for the board members because our presentation tonight is relatively brief. We wanted to make sure that you received very specific details about the progress we have made consulting with, again, the team in the special education department. We're waiting for that to come up. As we're waiting for it to come up, one more congratulation I would like to make to the district. We have been working, Joanne and I, with the special education team, teachers, students, parents, and support staff members for a year now. And I can say that it has been truly a pleasure to work with them. Their dedication and professionalism is impressive. It really has been fun. So every time we come up, and I come up at least once a month, it's been a real treat for me to work with them. So I really acknowledge the great work they're doing and the passion and the commitment they have to doing right by students, in particular students with special needs. So, we ready to go? Let me see if this is working. So again, we're here to provide a report on the progress we're making with regard to revitalizing the special education program, working side by side with the great folks in the special education department, and in particular with the teachers and the parents to come up with new systems to ensure that special education is moving forward in a good way. And if we think back to the FICMAT report about a year ago that both Joanne and I presented to you, one of the central tenets of our task in terms of working with staff, and in particular the task force, is to ensure that not only are we developing programs that are supportive of students, in particular students with special needs, but also they're fiscally responsible. And that's an important theme that we need to keep in mind as we move through this, because that was the central purpose of having us come with regard to FICMAT. So our consultancy, while not affiliated with FICMAT, is in the spirit of doing the work we're doing, is ensuring that we have that fiscal focus.
Matt, to use your
Need a little higher?
Closer.
Sounds good. So our focus tonight, we're going to go through briefly about 10 minutes to move through this presentation, so we'll move relatively quickly. Please stop myself or Joanne if you'd like us to go more slowly. We're going to focus on task force, move into some of the work we're doing with regard to staffing, professional development, special education self-review, and if you can make a note that the acronyms are spelled out on the bottom, and then finish with communication, some of the work we're doing with regard to that. So moving into the Special Education Task Force, we started this task force in September. It is comprised of parents, students, teachers, administration staff, and then support staff. We have very good representation, and average about 19 folks, 19 of the 25 representatives at each of our 6 sessions so far, and you can see the dates. We have all of the notes, all of the presentations, and the feedback posted live on the Rialto website, both in English and in Spanish. And after each session, we sum up the purpose of that session and the accomplishments in very brief talking points for folks who have busy schedules. The tasks we've completed, again briefly, obviously we've aligned it to the Fiscal Crisis Management and Assistant team, and in particular the focus on being fiscally responsive. We reviewed the current structure of the program in Rialto. We have completed a very detailed assessment of achievement data for students, and in addition to achievement data, both dropout data and suspension expulsion data. We've discussed at length current research in the area of special education and special education students being successful in a general education environment, and reviewed exemplary practices and programs both in the state of California and the nation. Our current focus, and we're going to share a couple draft slides with you tonight, is on actually building the strategic plan. We are right on schedule. Everything's going the way we anticipated it in terms of our timeline. Am I going too quickly, or is that good for the group? Very nice, thank you. So let's jump into some draft, and I want to underscore the importance of draft. These are drafts. We're actually meeting again on Monday, so please know that these will change as the group tightens things up. So when we start with developing a strategic plan, whether it's special education or general education, you really need to start with the culture and shifting the culture of what we believe in. So we're starting with beliefs, and these are the rough draft of the beliefs. You can see that the students are the center of education. There was a firm belief among all the participants that high expectations should be held for all students, regardless of their handicapping condition, and that all students can learn, and there's a belief in that, and that achievement is everyone's responsibility, and then all students have the right to be treated equally. So when we move back, when we take these beliefs, and the process we're utilizing is using those beliefs to develop a purpose statement. And that kind of goes along with the district's mission statement. So the purpose statement for special education program is to provide each student with an equal opportunity, and that's the identity of the department. They want to make sure all students have equal access. And then the purpose is that we're pushing for success academically and behaviorally. So both socially, emotionally, and academically. And then how we would put systems in place to ensure that we accomplish that purpose is by building on the strengths and accommodating the needs of specialized services that would be provided in the least restrictive environment. And just briefly on least restrictive environment, typically that means with general education peers. There are some exceptions, but just so you all know what we're referring to when we say least restrictive environment. So more to come on the beliefs and the purpose statement. We have accomplished the draft development of Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. Those are the two main events. Chapter 1 focuses on intervention first and then identification, and that's kind of a paradigm shift for Rialto at this point. And if you look at the structure of each chapter will have goals. Start with a goal, and then have strategies underneath the goal, and the strategies are intended to provide that method for which we would use to achieve that goal. So in the case of Chapter 1, for the draft goal at this point is that all students will access an early intervention system that builds on students' strengths rather than identifying students by weaknesses. We would build on their strengths and then provide multiple tiers of targeted, individualized support, and that would happen prior to identification. And if I can draw a connection back to the FICMAT report, we noticed that there was some over-identification in the district, and likely that was because we didn't have those early interventions very quickly so that students get the support and not necessarily need to lean on special education for it. So keep that in mind. I do want to draw your attention before I finish to the right-hand side of that slide. Each one of those areas that have links to them are bits of research that we utilized and grounded some of our work in. In particular, you can see item 2 and item 3, which is the ELA-ELD framework for 2014, so it's brand new. And our work is aligned to what the state of California requires of Rialto, so we wanted to be mindful of that, and also of the mathematics framework. So keep in mind that as we work through this and set goals and strategies, we're aligning them to the new requirements of the state of California. Strategy 1, in terms of that goal, would be to implement a comprehensive professional development and collaboration system. So it was categorical among our representatives that before we moved on implementing a system, we need to attend to the needs of the teachers and the staff in terms of growing their knowledge base. And in particular, it's a collaboration system so that all teachers and staff are equipped to provide the very best first instruction in the general education environment, so least restrictive. Strategy 2, we will develop a multi-tiered system of support. And again, I want to call out that multi-tiered system of support is the terminology the state of California has adopted. It's aligned to something you may have heard called RTI, or response to intervention. So it's important to know that we're aligning it to the requirements. So multi-tiered system of support that promotes early intervention as a proactive measure prior to identification for special education services, so that we're moving past the wait to fail model. You may have heard before that term used, where we would wait until 2nd or 3rd grade, where the student is so far behind their typical peers that we would consider and move into special education services. We would want to intervene early on in kindergarten or transitional kindergarten, so we can avoid or give students more opportunities to achieve and close that gap. The Chapter 2, which is literally the main event, and that's the service delivery model. And I want to call out the word service. It's important to keep in mind that special education is a service, not a place. And that again, is a culture shift. So we don't identify students for special needs and then put them in a different place. They need to have opportunities with their typical peers so that they don't move further and further behind with regard to access to core instruction that happens, in particular access to the state content standards. So the goal in this one, at this point, it's a draft goal, is to provide tailored supplementary services and support to keep each student on his or her highest possible achievement plan in that least restrictive environment, again, with their typical peers as much as possible. And the strategies, you can see there are 4 strategies at this point. These are the methods which we would utilize to achieve this goal. So we would provide all stakeholders with professional development, again, underscoring the importance of taking care of our staff and making sure both staff, teachers, parents, and students understand what the program is. That's strategy 1. Strategy 2, we would build on a school community that ensures that cohesive collaboration between all school district personnel. And in particular, what has come out pretty clearly with the group during our conversations is that there is collaboration, but oftentimes that collaboration is siloed. So there's collaboration between and among teachers who are in special education, but not necessarily between and among teachers who are in general education, and then vice versa. So keep that in mind. Then strategy 3, we will define, implement, and educate all stakeholders in the service delivery model. So everyone needs to know what the service delivery model looks like, how it works, and we need to constantly be receiving feedback so we can make adjustments during the course of the school year. And then the final one, design a data-driven system to determine needs, monitor student growth and progress, as this service delivery model is implemented. And the key to strategy 4 is that there are many students that participate in a special education program that have the requisite skills to be able to leave that special education program, be exited from that special education program, and be successful in a general education environment. We need to have data systems that can quickly identify where their needs and strengths are so that we can move them out of the special ed program and back, reintegrate them into general education. How am I doing on pace? Am I good? Okay. All right, last thing for this, the strategic plan and the task force. I just wanted to give you a quick peek of what the look of the plan could look like. It would be probably an 8 to 10 page document, again, bulleted, not a long narrative, because people typically won't read a long narrative, so we want to keep it as brief and succinct as possible. So the next time we come back, we'll actually show you what a draft could look like, but that's just an example at this point in time. And then I'm going to go over this quickly, but it is an important slide and actually one of the favorite slides of the representatives on the task force because it gives a kind of a bird's eye view of what we're doing. So if we start on the upper right-hand corner of this slide, we have our special education task force. Originally, we set 9 sessions. We're actually going to have 10. We added a session based on their feedback, and that additional session is happening this coming Monday. And then the green rectangle is the main part of our purpose, which is developing a strategic plan, and that is where we are. We're in chapters 1 and 2. We'll finalize those on Monday, and then we'll move on to chapters 3, 4, and 5. Moving down below into the purple box, we've been providing you updates. We're here tonight. Originally, it was scheduled to be in January, but we're here in February, and we'll do another one either in April or in May, depending upon what the board would like and the interim superintendent. Moving to the right, to the light blue, ultimately the school board would have to make a decision and approve the strategic plan so that it's validated by the Board of Education, probably in May or June. And then moving into the orange and red, that would happen in the summer, and we are committed to that and supporting you with this. And once you have a strategic plan, you need a more comprehensive implementation guide. So it's not enough to have a wireframe. You need to have a guide itself and align that to the federal and the state requirements. So that's that process. If you look down at the bottom of this slide, again, I'm going quickly, moving from left to right. A lot has already occurred with regard to revitalizing the special education program. Again, I want to commend the special education department staff. They've done wonderful work, and the teachers and parents. Starting from left to right, as you know, we had our FICMAT study about a year ago this month. Then after that, you asked Joanna and myself to come provide some consultative support. We're continuing with that support. Moving into this year, 2014-15, we started our special education task force. We're well on our way, and we're into session 7 on Monday. And then also during that same time, and you'll hear Joanne talk about it in a moment, we've been assisting you align your systems to the compliance and the regulations of the state of California. So you'll hear more about that in a moment. Moving into 15-16, if the plan is approved, then we would have an implementation guide, which we will assist you with, and begin initial implementation of this new service delivery model. That's important because if we implement this appropriately and carefully, it could have a pretty significant positive fiscal impact on the school district, which, going back to the FICMAT, was its original intent. And then 2016-17, that implementation would continue. And again, this may not be the message you'd like to hear, but typically when you implement a program as robust and comprehensive as this, it's going to take 3 years because we're changing culture and we're putting systems in place that can be lasting and sustainable. So this is an example of what that looks like over time. And then Joanne, I think you're ready.
Well, one of the first things that, with the district support, that has been put into place is an administrative infrastructure to support special education. So first of all, the special education has been moved to the Ed Services Department, which we had recommended in FICMAT, and is much more aligned now with core curriculum and access to all of that training and support. In addition to that, the district has assigned a a senior director of special education position, along with 2 coordinators and 3 program specialists. And that was the exact recommendation of FICMAT, that we believe a district this size should be very successful in special education with that kind of an infrastructure. The main focus of the next section is professional development. And as Matt talked about, the SESR process, that's a special education self-review process, and it's something that the state has continued to do for many years and encourages districts to take a very close look at themselves in terms of compliance. So if you see over on the left-hand side, the compliance system begins with a very detailed review of files. It's recommended by the State Department, and it determines the status of 38 state and federal regulations. It promotes legally defensive IEPs to ensure that the IEPs are correctly written. The process should be completed in the fall and in the spring, so you would do it twice a year, pre and post. And essentially, the main purpose of it is to develop a professional development process. What we would do is, from the results of this review that you've had already in the fall, we would then design a staff development system to cover all of the non-compliant areas to make sure that all of the teachers, specialists, and providers are trained in the areas where there were some compliance issues. So in Rialto's review, your staff developed special education teams that went out to the schools. All 28 schools participated. 227 IEPs were reviewed, and the overall compliance rate of the district was 53%. Now, we don't want you to get too locked on the 53% because the focus of this is not to identify or to make special education or even individual schools look badly, okay? The purpose is to find out, where does our staff need training and where do they need support? Because what we would hope to see is that in the end of the year, when you redo this, that you would see a dramatic improvement once that training and support has taken place. Then it would be ongoing from there. This is just a quick review of the final report that the board will ultimately see. You'll see the categories are across the top with the blue arrow. When you get to the red arrow, those are the individual items, compliance items that were reviewed, and the purple is the percent compliant. Over on the far right, with the gold arrow, you'll see the corrective actions. And if you see all of those individual numbers on the side, that will tell you the exact issue that requires some further training and support. So you'll look first of all at the overall percentage, and then and this is a district-wide report, and then you'll look at the corrective actions. Each school will have their own report, and they'll look individually at their corrective actions. And then each teacher will attend the training that's been developed for them, and a special training's been developed for each group. So a training for psychologists that will focus on assessment, because you see down in the assessment category, there's some areas of support that they're going to need. Transition services, there'll be a special focus for high school teachers, and the same with some of the other categories. So that's what the overall report would look like, and at the end of the year, the board will get the full report. The other areas, consultation with the staff on communication, development of systems like the special ed webpage, press releases, community announcements, and the task force archive. And I think I've gone into Matt's slide. Oh, okay. All right. Here is the schedule, and I'm sorry you can't read that very clearly, but hopefully you can see it on the paper form. But we have developed a full system of staff development that will start in April, and I think it's supposed to go April through June and not March, but it got turned around. We had to make some adjustment because we've had some other things that we've been participating in, so that changed our schedule a bit. But we do have, everybody will be trained at least initially. The program specialists are also being trained, and they will be going out to each of the school sites to meet with each of their teachers and work with them during the self-review process.
So just finishing up our level of support, if we move from left to right on this diagram in terms of looking ahead and next steps, we have much work left to be done to finish our strategic plan with the task force. The special education self-review, or SESR corrective actions, will be addressed through professional development, and then we'll have our post session occurring sometime in April at each of the schools in Rialto. And then staffing software, we didn't hit on that earlier in the slide, but in addition to the SESR software program that this district's utilizing, and by the way, the report that Joanne highlighted, those are all automated reports. And what's great about that is people can call them up at any time. So we also have some staffing software we've been working with the special education department on. And the reason that's important, again, I want to draw it back to fiscal responsibility and the FCMAT, is that if we have a tight staffing system in place, then we can be careful not to overstaff. And typically in districts, when we find them out of whack with regard to the fiscal responsiveness, it's the overstaffing that happens. So we have actually staffing software that we will be working with the special education department on between now and June, and that should be put into place. And with that, the department should be able to make projections for the following year, which, as you know, when you work with elementary, middle, and high school, projections is absolutely essential with regard to staffing. And then finally, professional development needs to continue to be ongoing. So there's quite a bit of work still left to do. And again, it's really been a pleasure to work with the Rialto staff, in particular the teachers and the parents. And with that, this is the structure that we have committed to in terms of providing levels of support. If you move from clockwise from the top, we have our task force, we have our strategic plan, we're helping with staffing, we're assisting with the special education self-review, which is compliance, state and federal, and then we are assisting with communication. So again, I apologize if that was too quickly, but I think we were close to 10 minutes. So at this point, if you have questions for myself or Joanne, we'd be happy to entertain them.
When you talk about the service delivery model, is that actually going to show teachers like what an RSP collaboration should look like and what an okay.
Yeah, so well, let me give a little bit more specific answer to that. So the service delivery model will outline the different components of service delivery. RSP would actually be retermed, so it wouldn't be termed as RSP, it would be Learning Center. Okay. And then in the implementation guide I referred to that we would be developing with the staff in June after the model's approved, there would be a fleshed out explanation of what each service delivery model is, and then the requirements of those with regard to collaborating with Gen Ed staff. So it would be a combination of the strategic plan, which would identify the actual service delivery model, and the implementation guide, which would give the specificity about what is it and how is it implemented.
Okay, and the teachers are actually going to see it in action, right?
They would have, yes, they would.
Okay.
Question? Oh, if you.
Go ahead.
So my question is in reference to just the communication. You talked about the fact that the communication within the district, or excuse me, within the department, great. In the communication within the general education, great, but the mix across is lacking. Are you all working and helping to facilitate that, or figure out ways to make that communication stronger, to begin it, make it stronger, do whatever from that standpoint, and then working also with general education staff to help to be able to facilitate the students in general education to cross kind of pollination of that, so that the student performs and exceeds and excels in a general education environment?
Right. So the simple answer is that's not the extent of our work right now.
Okay.
The focus of our work right now is to define the systems,
okay,
and to identify what types of communication need to exist.
Okay.
And then the implementation would occur in kind of future areas of focus. And we certainly can help with that. Right now our focus is making sure we have communication within our department. Let's start there. Establishing systems that are understandable and connected to research and the requirements of the state and federal government, and then engaging in redefining and rebuilding a culture of collaboration, as you were pointing out, between general education and special education, and what does that look like? So we're going to give models, and in the plan it will flesh out the specificity of what that looks like, but the implementation likely in terms of training would occur after June, just from a timeline perspective.
Okay.
Dr. Doyle, it's good to see that we're getting additional help with the kids that definitely deserve all the help that we can provide them with. I was looking at over the program here where maybe we could find an area to address parent needs, and I thought, well, maybe page 10 where it says areas for improvement,
Right.
maybe we could add another bullet point with parent communication. And more specifically, we need to find ways to empower our parents. They've been participating in communities and committees for quite some time, but we, the board here, we never see any resolutions and we never see any proposals. So what I'm advocating is that perhaps we find ways to get them assistance so that they can not fear writing a proposal or a resolution. And I think the board would be more than pleased to look it over. And so, because some of their concerns are not unreasonable, and it's their children, and
That's right.
that might be an area where we can put another bullet in.
Excellent. So I made a note. That's very good feedback, and that we're actually intended to do that in the coming chapters of the strategic plan. It would be chapter 4.
Excellent.
So I
And-
have a
and-
note there. So I have parent commitment, empowering parents, and then also addressing possible resolution proposals and assistance.
Excellent. Thank you.
Any other questions? Please do.
I just wanted to make one follow-up question, answer. What am I trying to say? Yeah, I've lost my train. Support for parents? No. Oh, we have general education teachers are part of the strategic plan. So I don't know if we mentioned that clearly enough that, we have multiple members, parents and everybody, but we have a contingent of general ed teachers who kind of keep us honest in terms of not staying focused just on special education, but general ed as well.
Well, our presentation, we didn't have a chance to go in depth. I would encourage you to visit the website. We have over 100 pictures of these folks in action, and it's actually pretty heartwarming to see some of the great things that are occurring. So it's fun. Any other questions? Thank you for having us. We'd love to come back and share additional information.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll leave this here. Leave this here. Thank you.
Next, we have a special presentation, Rialto Unified School District Classified Employees of the Year, and Board Member Mr. Martinez and Board Member Mr. Ayala are going to be helping us with that.
Good evening, one and all. Today we get a chance to share with you some of our classified employees of the year. And it is a great chance to showcase some of our great people, their multiple talents, and you'll just get to see their faces, of course, but everyone in the house knows these faces. Mr. Ayala.
Quite a bit to read here, but we'll get started. There are more than 1,200 classified employees in Rialto Unified School District. And this year, after a thorough process, the district is awarding top 6 employees the honor of Classified Employees of the Year. Each of these employees were nominated by their supervisors, who were commended their strong work ethics and dedication to the district. The first honoree is Officer Sean Copley. Please come up.
Okay.
Continue. Officer Copley is a campus security officer, 1 at Frisbee Middle School. He has worked in the district for 9 years. Frisbee Middle School principal, here we go. Osonduwike. Thank you so much. Said, Sean works hard at both enforcing the school rules while maintaining a positive culture on the school campus. He has implemented our bike and skateboard registration. He visits the 6th grade classrooms to talk to them and help them transition to middle school. Sean makes strong efforts to gain the trust of the students and encourage responsible behavior. He really works hard to make sure that we have a safe campus and uses his relationships with the students to do so. Sean has also participated in our school site council for the last 2 years. Congrats, Officer Copley.
And also, CSEA President Linda Silva has a certificate for him as well.
I would just like to add that Sean Copley is also our Chief Union Steward for the Chapter 203 here in Rialto, which basically means that if an employee has a problem and they think that they are being violated contractually, that Mr. Copley is the one that they speak to, and then it gets handled from there. So he is our chief in charge of 6 other union stewards in our chapter. So Mr. Copley, in recognition for your outstanding achievement, we would like to present you with this certificate.
Mr. Copley, would you like to say a few words? Give you an opportunity.
I just want to thank you for recognizing the hard work of our department. And it's without this department, you know, keeping our school safe is our priority. With my teammates also I want to give credit to Officer Lang, Officer Sanchez, my team. Without them, I was not able to also do all those extra duties that's bestowed upon me. So I'm really proud to say that our department is in a high standard, and will continue on servicing everyone and keeping schools safe for students as well as our staff. Thank you.
Alrighty, I will present the next one. Our next RUSD Classified Employee of the Year is Mr. Ricardo Carlos. Please stand. Very proud of you, my friend. Ricardo is the district's communications web technician in the Communication Services Department. His supervisor, Saida Jaffrey, communications director, stated, Mr. Carlos, she's running away because she knows I have people read their own comments. So, okay. Mr. Carlos is an exemplary public employee. He has demonstrated that no matter what circumstances, crisis, or daily issues come up, he will consistently rise to any occasion while remaining a consummate professional. As the only classified employee under the superintendent's office, he is superbly efficient, personable, and handles public relations matters with extreme politeness and genuine consideration. Mr. Carlos' greatness, I like that, greatness, does not simply lie in the fact that he is an outstanding classified employee, but also that he is extraordinarily given back to students by volunteering successfully to putting on the Ritz. Every supervisor in public education should have a knowledgeable, professional, polished person working alongside them, who knows how to provide supreme customer services to parents, students, and staff. These traits truly define the character of Mr. Carlos. Congratulations, Ricardo.
And on behalf of the Rialto Unified School District, we present you, Carlos, with this certificate of recognition on February 25th, 2015.
Well, this is interesting being on this side of it. I'll keep it brief. I just want to say thank you so much to my fellow colleagues for this honor and to the other honorees that are being recognized tonight. And thank you, Saida Joffrey. She, what's not to be said that hasn't been said in a good way about her. Thank you for my family and the loved ones that have come here to support me. And honestly, I'll take this moment to actually promote our Ritz. Putting on the Ritz is on March 7th, and we need tickets are available online. And thank you, thank you.
Yes, give you the certificate for your outstanding achievement, and thank you for all that you do. Okay, you're welcome.
Would the parents please come up? We're going to take a picture. Please, this is a great opportunity. Sir, your son, we're so thankful that you loan him to us, because best way to describe it. Maybe stand right here. Next, we have Mrs. Edith Jimenez. Edith, would you like to come up and join us? Edith, who is a Secretary 3 at EL Programs, she has been in the district for 37 years. Mariana Madrid, Director at EL Programs, stated Edith is conscientious and proactive in completing her job duties. We often say that Edith could run this department after being in her position for over 30 years. As a new director and a new coordinator, we have been blessed to have such an excellent secretary. Edith is organized and always takes the initiative to master any new system or procedure that is implemented. She is meticulous about keeping accurate records within our department for our strategies, administrators, and students. Edith takes time to work with clerical staff and administrators to build their knowledge of EL program requirements, procedures. Edith is always professional and positive. She probably knows more about EL programs and the needs of EL students than any other person in the district. She is truly deserving of this honor. Congratulations to Mrs. Jimenez.
Edith, I'd like to present you with this certificate of recognition from the Rialto Unified School District Board of Education. Edith Jimenez, Secretary 3, Classified Employee of the Year, District Finalist. Congratulations.
Edith just received from CSEA the Employee of the Quarter. So she's now Employee of the Quarter for CSEA, and she is Employee of the Year with the Rialto School District. And this is a certificate of recognition for your outstanding achievements.
Edith, would you like to say something? And is your husband here? Please come up.
And my son.
And your son. He's back there, please.
Good evening. I am truly grateful to receive this honor. Thank you all for the opportunity to express my gratitude for your support, collaboration, and encouragement during my career with Rialto Unified School District. I want to especially thank my supervisor, Marina Madrid, and all the wonderful people that I work with in the EL programs and throughout the district. I would also like to thank my family and my friends for being here tonight. As I said last time that I was here, I am really fortunate.
You do one on top of there, you go. You've already. There you go. Perfect. 1, 2, 3, and one more. 1, 2, and 3.
And I'd just like to point out that Mrs. Jimenez received recognition at the last board meeting
Yes,
also.
yes.
So the awards are piling up.
Yes. Going to put up a new wall just for awards. Our next classified employee of the year is Mrs. Selma Jones. Selma? Selma Jones, Instructional Assistant. 2, Special Education, RSP, SDC at Trapp Elementary School, who has worked in the district for 15 years. Roxanne Dominguez, Principal at Trapp Elementary School, stated, Miss Selma Jones joined our Trapp staff in the 2009-2010 school year as an instructional assistant in the SDC classroom, and the following school year started in her current assignment as an RSP instructional assistant. Mrs. Jones has an outstanding work ethic. She is knowledgeable, dependable, and compassionate, all qualities which are a must when successfully working with special ed students. Excuse me. Mrs. Jones forms unique bonds with the students. She helps to serve within the classroom and sets a bar high for herself. She has helped our probationary instructional assistants acquire the skills their positions require. She treats our staff, students, and parents as if they are family, assisting everyone in any way needed. She is committed to doing all she can to make sure she has fulfilled her part in our school's ongoing success. Congratulations, Ms. Jones.
And on behalf of the Rialto Unified School District, we present you with a certificate of recognition to Selma Jones for Classified Employee of the Year. Again, congratulations.
And Selma, on behalf of CSCA, Chapter 203, we would like to present you with this certificate for your outstanding achievements.
Selma, do you have your family here? Oh, perfect. Please, sir. And then we'll give this opportunity to say something. Right here with you.
I just want to thank my staff for recognizing me for this award, from my supervisor, Roxanne Dominguez, and from my husband for supporting me. Thank you.
And next we have Mrs. Maria Knight. Could you please join us? We'll shake hands. Congratulations. She's the school secretary at Simpson Elementary School. Mrs. Knight has been employed in the district for 25 years. Connie Richardson, principal at Simpson, By the way, are you here, Connie? Please join us up here. Principal at Simpson Elementary School stated, Mrs. Knight is an excellent, you know what, maybe you could read this part right here. What you said here, if you don't mind, you can read this about
Mrs. Knight is an excellent and invaluable secretary. She effectively manages our office staff with patience and, most importantly, humor. She is very efficient and thorough and completes all tasks in an accurate and timely manner. She's highly organized and plans ahead, anticipating what tasks need to be completed and ensuring that all deadlines are met. Mrs. Knight is able to work without direct supervision and exhibits leadership skills in her daily work as office manager. Okay.
She is also able to take direction from administration and accepts correction well. She often arrives at work in the mornings before her scheduled reporting time and routinely stays past the end of her workday in order to ensure the effective functioning of the office and the school. Again, congrats, Mrs. Knight.
Maria Knight, hold it up so the picture can get it. Okay, we'd like to present this on behalf of the district. Congratulations. And if your family is here, bring them on.
Let's bring them all.
Come on down.
Linda has some something for you.
Again, Maria, on behalf of CSCA 203, and a certificate for your outstanding achievement.
And we'll give her a chance to say.
I just want to thank Mrs. King right over there, Mrs. Richardson. Thank you. Thank you for coming, Mrs. Bishop. My husband, it's kind of late. We need to be in bed. So I'll make it brief. Thank you.
So school nights.
Congratulations.
And although she could not be here tonight due to a medical reason, our last classified employee of the year is Mrs. Samalu M. Rodriguez. Everyone knows her as Sammy. School secretary at Casera Middle School. Mrs. Rodriguez has been with the district for 27 years. Monique Conway, principal at Casera Middle School, stated, if you'd like to read about Sammy.
Samilu Rodriguez is dedicated and committed to her service for RUSD. She ensures that the office runs smoothly and efficiently. She meets with the clerks, discipline secretary with total precision to coordinate and manage the daily operations of the school offices. One of the most demanding roles that Samilu has is to make sure all classes have a teacher each period. Samilu established excellent rapport with the staff, so when she needs a substitute for period coverage, most teachers are very receptive to her requests. The level of effort that she puts in her work is commendable, and there have been times when I've had to remind her to leave work after hours and go home to rest for the next day.
Okay. Congratulations, Mrs. Rodriguez. We will make sure Ms. Conway gets your recognition to you.
And if you're watching at home or any of the family members, the Rialto Unified School District is proud to present a certificate of recognition to you. Classified Employee of the Year, February 25th, 2015. Again, congratulations.
And Sammy, if you are watching at home, because I know you're a Rialto resident, this certificate comes to you from CSEA Chapter 203. It's a certificate of recognition for your outstanding achievement.
Interim Superintendent Islam, President Montes, members of the board. On behalf of Assembly Member Cheryl R. Brown, 47th District, she is simply thrilled to have an opportunity to honor some special people in this school district who excel at what they do. To each of you, on behalf of Assembly Member Brown, it is my pleasure to honor you for your dedication, expertise, and professionalism in support of students from the Rialto Unified School District. On behalf of the constituents of the 47th Assembly District, congratulations to you all.
And if I can have all the board members, please, this is the. And if we could hurry up, it is a live meeting. Everybody close up, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, sure, come on up.
Marisol, yes, get a little bit closer.
He was gonna sneak out.
Mr. If you can back up, little bit, perfect. I know you guys have a lot of certificates in your hand, but if you just collectively show the picture.
She was gonna sneak out to go back.
When she stops, I go. I promise I'll give you the copy. And everyone can look over here real quick. 1, 2, 3, and one more. 1, 2, 3. Just give me 1 second. One more. Perfect. 1, 2, and 3. Just look over here, please. 1, 2, and 3. Thank you.
A little bit more. All these 6 classified employees of the year applications will be sent to the San Bernardino County school level. And then if an employee is selected by the panel, they will have an opportunity to go on to the state level. But our district eyes are on you, all already winners.
We congratulate each of you and are cheering you for your place at the next level. Thank you for your service.
Let's give another round of applause also for the principals that came to support their employees.
I do have one more request. I've just assumed this, but I would ask that copies of this be put in their permanent employee file. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Mr. Martinez and Mr. Ayala. Next, we'll be going on to item C, public comments. The first will be comments from the floor at this time. Any person wishing to speak on any item not on the agenda will be granted 3 minutes. First up, we have Mr. James Is it Gas?
Board members, administrative staff, members of the audience, I'm James Gass. I'm a teacher at Cusera Middle School. I've been in the district since '99, and I've had opportunity over the years to come across situations where people had innovative ideas, unfortunately only to see them fall short. And I kept running into the same problem myself, other teachers I've met. It's kind of a inherent structural problem that when we present ideas to the administration, either the first level, second level. By the third level, it's usually shot down. And that is because there's too much risk for the administrators. There's, on a personal basis, there's not much in it for them to pursue my idea, and if there's not much in it for them to pursue the ideas of the other teachers. And there's a lot of times risk to go ask for money and things like that. And what I started to realize recently was that this is a structural issue. It's something that initially it had run through my head, say, well, I'll go push my idea. And then I realized, wait a minute, every teacher who has an innovative idea needs a mechanism for that idea to be heard and then either approved or rejected on its merits. But the proposal that I have before you is to create a committee consisting of administration, teachers from the elementary and the middle and the high school level, and that would review these proposals for innovation and approve them or disapprove them. And along with that, for there to be an internal budget to award grants that would make these things possible. Because the reality is any new ideas, you have to have money for them. And so what I'm suggesting here is creating a committee that could approve structural changes for teachers. For example, to clear a teacher of having students for a period, which no administrator could do right now. It'd be way too much risk for them to come say, gee, I want my teacher to have fifth period free. I know they got to prep, but they want to have no students this period and try this new idea. And it's like, no. So there's that idea, or to do something similar on elementary and have a pull-out program where the teacher has the free time to go pull the kids out and do things. The basic idea is there. And I've given it to you in writing. And my recommendation here, to put it in simple form, is this. I'm asking the board to direct the superintendent to investigate the feasibility of this plan, report back to the board with the following items. 1, what budget would be required? 2, should the general idea be adopted? If not, why? And recommendations as to what changes need to be made in the spirit of the proposal, if it can be done cost effectively, and what alternatives to encourage teacher innovation or recommendation could also be added to it. So that's my proposal and my request for the board. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'll be emailing all of you a soft copy of this. So.
Thank you. Next, we have Mr. Larry Ferris.
Good evening, board and superintendent. As you can see, I represent the award-winning choirs at Eisenhower High School. Very proud of these young men and women who not only represents the high school, but represents Rialto Unified School District and the city of Rialto. And if you watched the emails in the past years, you found out that these young men and women have done an outstanding job for this school district. They're representative of these kids in other areas as well known. You can go into Southern California and you'll hear 2 comments made at competitions. 1, oh no, Eisenhower's here. We're going to have to really compete well. And the second one is, oh wow, Eisenhower's here. I'm anxious to see what they're going to do this year. And I really mean this. They really say that at competitions. So I'm here because the young men and women this year, because of lack of funds, had to buy their outfits. These outfits cost for the men probably around $100, and for the women $150. And as you know, our district and families probably live check to check. And so it costs a lot of time for these kids to get the money from their parents or doing little jobs around the district. But I'm here to ask maybe the board can think about funding these kids, at least their outfits. 2 things happen. The first thing that happens is you'll get a smile from the kids and from the parents about saving money, not only for their sons, but for their families. And the second thing is if you fund these outfits, costumes, and wardrobe, you start to build a wardrobe for the high school. And in years from now, they're going to be able not to have to buy outfits, costumes, because they'll have a wardrobe to select from. And if you would possibly think about supporting the young men and women who are outstanding, just like the academic decathlon students, and supporting them because they support this school district, I would really be happy for them and for my wife, who is the director. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ferris. Next up, we have Mr. Rafael Chavarria.
Good evening, members of the Board of Education, Mr. Islam. I'm here to do a presentation concerning the job bulletin on the superintendent job for the Rialto Unified School District. We recently formed a committee. The committee's name is Concerned Parents for the search of a qualified superintendent. We reviewed, we did some reviewing of the spec, and we found out, we discovered that we were concerned about some things in the information for applicants for the position of superintendent. And I'm going to pass to you some of these areas that you can follow up. It won't take very long, but I'm going to pass to you these areas so you can follow up with me where we have some concerns about the job bulletin that was made public education recently on the superintendent's job.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, if you can follow up on the very first page, the job bulletin, it does not say minimum numbers of years of experience needed in this area for the superintendent job. And the written job description qualifications are not specific enough for what this district needs. It's a wish list with nothing solid. And if you go to the next, Rialto is a highly bilingual community. We have more than 60% of parents of children attending schools in the Rialto Unified School District are Spanish speaking. So we need a superintendent that can effectively communicate with these parents in a language that they can understand. We have there's no knowledge. There's knowledge and background in an educational setting with a proven record of strong academics is highly needed in this spec. And we also need an honest, thorough, and clean background check is a must for all candidates and no exceptions. Now I just have about 3 bullets here. In this spec, in this application that for applicants for the position of superintendent.
Mr. Chavarria, I'm sorry, with all due respect, I just would like to ask you to please wrap it up because the time is already up.
Okay, this is just going to be, give me 1 minute and I'll breeze through this here. A background as a classroom teacher, site and district administrator experience, it says is desirable, but not required. You have a high school experience is desirable. It doesn't say anything about being required. A unified school district experience is desirable, but not required. and curriculum and instructional leadership background is desirable, but it doesn't say anything about being required. So we would like our recommendations as concerned parents of this committee. We would like the school board to review this this application for applicant for position of superintendent. We feel that there has to be some changes. And this is for the benefit of students, school teachers, and administrators in the district. This is not acceptable. Thank you very much.
Thank
and
you,
have
Mr.
a nice
Chavarria.
evening.
Thank you. Next, we go on to items on the agenda. First, we have Mr. Russell Silva.
Good evening, board members, administration, and viewing audience. My name is Russell Silva. I'm here to talk about reference items K1.1, K2.1, K3.1, and K4.1. I understand the purpose behind these is to try and expand or increase, or as the wording is put in the thing, secure a larger pool of qualified bidders. And having worked for various public agencies throughout my career, and especially in doing project management the last 15 years, I do understand the value of having a good set of qualified select bidders. But what my question is why do we need to secure a larger pool when we already have some existing qualified bidders? Based on the research I have, we have 11 pre-qualified architect firms, 9 pre-qualified construction management firms, 12 pre-qualified inspection firms, and 14 pre-qualified engineering or consulting firms. That's already a large pool. At my district where I work, we have numerous pools of qualified bidders for various operations that we do. We build reservoirs, we build wells, we have pipelines, we do grading, we do surveying, we do geotechnical. We have a pool for each one of those. But on every case, none of them exceeds more than six or seven. And in some cases, because of their highly qualified or their highly specialized program, we only have as little as 3 and 4. But with a smaller list, what that enables the district to do is enables you to have a better communication with those contractors. You know the contractors. We know them. They know us. They know what to expect from us. We know what they can provide for us. So with a smaller pool, you have that opportunity of getting contractors or not having situations where you'll have surprises, you get less change orders, and you can stay on task with budget. So because of this, it brings me to the question of why is this board requesting to have the list expanded? Is it because there are companies that are not on the list that you personally prefer, or that you want to have because you favor those firms over the other ones that are there? And if that's the case, then I have to repeat the statement I've made in many board member meetings before, that it appears to me that the game hasn't changed. We just have different players.
Thank you, Mr. Silva. Next up, we have Mr. Hardy Brown.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Hardy Brown, San Bernardino County Board of Education, and it is just my honor. I wanted to come in today and see the amazing accomplishments of our students with the academic decathlon. It was amazing to see, and I don't know if everyone realizes what they really went through, but at the award ceremony, there were over 500 participants from all throughout all 33 school districts that were there, and so the feat that they were able to accomplish was amazing. So we want to definitely say congratulations to them, as well as the employees that were awarded tonight. Sometimes we don't get the roses thrown at us while we're still working and doing a great job, and it's great to see them be able to have the recognition from the district. So congratulations with that. And then I'd like to end with the DSAC students who came by my office this month. We had an amazing time. And I don't know if you got a chance to see the pictures, but some of the things that we went over, we talked about leadership. And in building and talking about Black history, one of the things we wanted to do was to teach the students, how do you build your own history? How do you build your own history? So we talked about portfolios, keeping all of your records. I've been keeping all of my records since I was 18 years old. And I have binders and binders of all kinds of flyers and every assignment and every other thing that I've ever done. And so we talk to the students about building their own records so they can have their own history. As well as from the younger students, we talked about what is your SWOT analysis, your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And we had them build through Legos what their strengths were, and they were able to build an entire piece together to talk about how they would work together as a team. So it was amazing to work with the students. I will invite them back anytime, and just want to say thank you so much for the district for that support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, next we go on to comments from association executive board members. First, do we have anybody here that would like to take the floor from Rialto Education Association?
Good evening, President Montez, members of the board, cabinet, interim superintendent, Mr. Islam. My name is Leslie Chambers. I'm the bargaining chair for the Rialto Education Association, and I have our initial proposal to give to you. And I just, we have a copy for each board member and for Mr. Islam. And I just wanted to note that while the things in here definitely benefit our members, there are also things in here that will definitely benefit our children. So if you could take a really close look at it and see it in that light. They're not mutually exclusive when we go to the table. So I'd just like to give this to you if that's okay. Thank you.
She was quick.
Thank you, Ms. Chambers. Do we next up, do we have anybody here from CSEA that'd like to take the floor? Next up, we have CWA.
I'd like to say off the record, I think that beard looks pretty good. I gotta say it on the mic. Okay, off the record, the beard looks pretty good. I mean, I remember when I was a young man trying to grow one. I mean, what'd you do, 2 weeks? I probably was a year or more.
I just stopped shaving, that's all.
Okay, my name is Ron Fletcher. I represent the substitute teachers, and we had the honor tonight of seeing one young man that helped your academic triathlon do really well, and this is the type of substitutes that I hope to be able to keep coming into Rialto here, and I think you really deserve it. The other thing I'd like to say is Ricardo has helped me quite a few times, and so I'm going to help him by saying also, you know, let's go to the Ritz. Furthermore, in your paper here, it's very interesting. I only get to see the front of Nancy O'Callaghan and Diana Walker, but now if I look at this paper, I get to see the back of them.
Oh, no.
Right. Don't show it.
So that is, I thought, was pretty interesting. The other thing I'd like to say is we have also given our contract proposals to y'all, and we're looking forward to working with you on that and everything. And I really like the way everything is going in this district, and I think you guys have done a great job. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, do we have anybody from Rialto School Managers Association? Okay. Next item is D, public hearing. There are none. We'll go on to the consent calendar items. All items on the consent calendar will be acted upon in one motion unless pulled by Board of Education members or the interim superintendent for individual action. So we have, do we have a motion to approve the consent calendar items reference E through J? Do we have a first?
I move that we approve the consent calendar items E through J.
Do we have a second? Thank you, Ms. Walker.
I'll second, but I have a couple pulls.
Okay. Go ahead, Ms. O'Kelly.
G12 and H3.
Okay, and that's G12 and H3. Okay, so we'll go ahead and pull item G12 and H3 to vote on separately. Can I have a motion to approve the consent calendar items E through J with the exception of G12 and H3?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Ayala. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Walker. Preferential vote?
Aye.
Thank you, Ms. Angulo. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, item G12. Would you like to read the item, Ms. O'Kelly?
Well, approve a memorandum of understanding with the City of Rialto to provide elementary schools with a youth basketball program operated by the City of Rialto for 380 students. Now, I think this is a great idea. I think it was my idea, actually, to begin with. But I'm a little, I don't understand. We're paying $50 per student. What are we paying that for if we are not hiring coaches? I thought they would have qualified coaches, like I think the city sports programs have qualified coaches.
I'll let Angela address that. She's worked with the city.
All right. Good evening, board. I'm Angela Brantley. The $50 a student is the regular charge that the city charges for all of their students who come through and play their basketball.
Right.
In terms of the coaches, most of their coaches are parent volunteers that go through their fingerprinting process, and they have their own internal processes. So even for them to operate this program, it'll more than likely be parent volunteers or some of our own staff volunteers who will go through the city's process and become fingerprinted and approved to be the coaches. So it's the same process that
So the
exists with the
city's
city of
coaches
Rialto.
for their sports program are volunteers?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, because my concern with that is I wonder if the kids, well, never mind. All right, then what does, I mean, so that's $19,000 just for a registration fee?
So what that encompasses
What are the
is-
kids getting out
what
of
that
this?
encompasses is the uniforms. Every student will get a uniform that says City of Rialto.
Okay.
It encompasses the actual practices 2 times a week. They'll practice for an hour. Their games. The city will operate tournaments, playoffs. It'll encompass their championship trophies. All students will get medals, and the winning teams will get trophies and so forth.
Okay.
So it operates the whole operating costs for the program.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
So I'm good with that one.
Thank you, Ms. Brantley. Next, we have item H3.
Do you want to vote on that one?
Yeah, we should. Do we have a motion to approve item G12?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Preferential vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, on to H3.
Yes. I'm really excited that we are investigating solar energy, but my question is this. We're paying this money just to go through the motions of selecting a solar company. After we select a solar company, what funding are we going to use to pay for solar energy to be installed? Or, I mean, where is it going to go from there, and what funding is going to pay for this?
I'd like to, our director of facility, Iris Chu, come forward. Before she speak on I can cover the funding, the board. The funding is that there's several options. We're not quite there yet. Solar project is as you know, it is not no-brainer for me. Meaning it has a big return on the investment. Many school districts, many even homeowners, we put the solar in our own home to save energy and cost. District our size, we have a huge cost. We run business today. We've been working on this project and gathering information and ideas. almost a year. Finally, we say we need to move on. So I will let Iris cover why we need an expertise to help guide us moving forward. Back to the funding issue, Mrs. O'Callaghan. There's several options. Build your own, meaning you finance the project, or there's a lease option to buy, or you can do lease, meaning you don't own it. So those will be forthcoming to you as a board before we going forward. We're not there yet. I will bring the recommendation to you. But tonight, simply you see the item just to bring somebody with expertise and knowledge, help guide us in the right directions to bring the companies. You know, there's many companies currently doing these projects. We don't have expertise. I don't claim I have expertise. I don't believe my staff has expertise. I'll turn over to Iris, maybe further explain to you what she believes this company can do for us. Go ahead.
Good evening, Board President Mr. Montes, distinguished board members, Mr. Islam. The reason we need, I feel we need a third party, especially this is an electrical engineer to help us in the selection process, is first, this is a very purely electrical project. And there have been new technology even in the solar arena. So, as Mr. Islam mentioned that, we do not have expertise, even though we saw a lot of projects around here, but we have not done that before. And so I think it's prudent to have a professional to be in the selection panel to help us sort out the right one in terms of their data analysis. Of course, we internal staff, we can check on their background, their other project, the financial information, but I think in this particular project, it's wise to have a expertise to help us.
And I agree with that 1,000%. I think my concern was, if we spend this money now and we get a company, we select a company, but it's like 6 to 8 years before we can really afford to do anything, that company could be out of business by then. So by the timing is if we're not ready to very quickly move into it, we could have a problem there, because a lot of these companies go out of business real fast too. So
that's one of our background check, their history and their staying power in terms of financial strength.
Okay.
Yes.
If I may piggyback, Ms. O'Callaghan, our plan to move fast. As you know, this is you drive around many school districts already have done these projects. As I mentioned, many homeowners in our neighborhood, you can see that many homes has a solar project. But so our goal, after we did enough study on this project and collect data and informations, now we're ready to move forward. So our goal is not to delay any further. So because of that, we are trying to bring an expert who can assist us, guide us writing the scope of the project before we go to the selection process.
Well, that would only make sense. I just want to make sure we have a continuum here.
Yes, we are, and I'll bring a report back to you as we're moving forward.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So anything else regarding that item?
Oh, no, we can vote on that now.
Okay. So do we have a first to approve item H3?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. O'Kelly and Mr. Martinez. Preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now we're on to item K, discussion action items. And the first one is K1, to reopen a request for proposal RFP 14-15-005 and republish a notice inviting requests for proposals RFP 14-15-005 for the purpose of securing a larger pool of pre-qualified architectural firms to be utilized for Measure Y Series C projects. Do we have a motion to approve?
Just a comment. Board. I remember we did this before with the contracts, and we reopened the request for proposals. And there were questions asked, and one of the reasons, there was like a project manager involved, and he did not send out, I guess the secretary or somebody did not send out the applications the way he was supposed to. People applied for them. They were late in receiving, and we wanted to be fair with everybody who wanted to apply. And the only solution at that time was to reopen the process. So I don't know if this is the case here, but I just wanted to bring that that experience that we had. That was probably a couple years ago, and it worked out. You know, the company may or may not have received, I don't remember the contract, but at least they were treated fairly.
I wanted to comment just on those. That would be 1 through 4. What are the reasons? And I don't want to be speculative about what the reasons are. On one of the other ones where we're reconsidering another bid, closing that bid and reopening, there actually is listed a reason, but there is no reason listed. So what are the reasoning behind increasing a bigger pool? Is there a limit to the pool? Is there a minimum to the pool? So if the staff can let us know why and what those...
Mohammed, can you explain?
Yeah, I will ask Iris too. Could you come forward and explain, board? And board, I want to remind you, perhaps, I don't remember date, we had to present to you on items, and you have expressed some concern, so we pulled that items to come back to do a better process. First of all, I'd like to qualify what I mean by better process. At present time, you have been, you know, we have a steering committee, the Measure Y steering committee. Member of the board, you represent that committee. I want to make sure everything crystal clear to you as a governing board, that there's no surprise to you. So process is clean. The selection process is not limited to my staff. And so steering committee is another set of eyes will be engaged to the process before it comes to you as a governing board for approval. We learned from experience. We heard a lot of concerns coming from the community and members, and issues and concerns related to our Measure Y projects. I want to make sure those issues doesn't come back again as a concern to you. So I want to be clear, make sure we every step we're going to make to the process, it is crystal clear before it comes to you for approval.
And are we updating and refining our process as we go through this?
You're correct. We are not limiting people. We have done business. We're going to open anyone interested to do business with Rialto USD, but we are always looking for the best. Rialto is is not taking anybody left over. We're going to shoot for the best people, do what's best for the Rialto USD.
But those who have already been accepted into the pools don't have to reapply, do they?
You're correct.
Okay.
They don't have to go through this again, because we make sure we communicate this to the people has been submit their package. We're not going to ask them to submit again. That doesn't, we definitely going to do that.
I have the same concerns as the public, that this isn't reopening the pool just to add a friend of a friend. And I want to hear that is not one of the reasons, part of the scope for reopening.
I will speak with honesty. The reason is that we add another process. It's called a steering committee. You didn't have one. Board, I felt that you need it. And knowing an experience I have listening to the concerns coming from the community, I strongly felt there's a need to be another set of stakeholders, which is I invite a member of the board, and Mrs. O'Callaghan is there. Mr. Ayala is going to represent. I cannot take more than 2 but under the Brown Act. So you are part of the process. So there's and committee members is a part of the steering committee. So when it returned to you as the approval selections of the firm, it will be no concerns should be bring after the fact. So that's the reason we felt legally we cannot just take a prior process. We have to reopen the bid. To open again, we have discussed our legal counsel and they advised that this is the correct process. So you will be, the recommendation will come to you once we go through that process and for your approval.
And which legal counsel was that?
We use our county council.
Thank
They have expertise because they serve 33 school districts in our county.
Perfect, thank you.
So my question still would be, if the wording is securing a larger pool of pre-qualified engineering consulting firms, what is the number that makes it the larger pool or the lesser pool? Meaning if there are 3 qualified, what is the number if you're looking to be, I understand the transparency issue that we're looking at, but is there a number saying that we want to have at least 6 or 10 pre-qualified firms on these projects for the Measure Y dollars?
In my opinion, I don't think there's really a number that we need to go as a target. It's actually the quality of firms we select, whether we can cover different variety of project, small project, medium-sized project, big project, new construction, renovation, all kinds of project. And some firm can claim that they are expertise in all these projects, but we want to expose this opportunity to more vendors, more consultants, and also including more companies in this community.
Again, in my mind, we're looking who is can best serve our Rialto Unified School District. Again, the bond money is a very limited resource. We want to maximize resource building our project. We don't want to give money to the consultants, and here we can do our projects. So we are very careful to our selection process, not only cost elements, we're looking for their references, their reputations, and their expertise, and make sure they're serving our Rialto USD project, not they're serving their own interests.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Chu. Thank you, Mr. Islam, for your clarification. I want to thank Mr. Islam for really taking the lead and changing and improvising and improving the previous process of selecting construction management, architects, inspectors, and all the other different types of consultants regarding these types of projects. In the past, the way things have been done in the past need to be changed. It was reported in the FICMAT, it was reported in different various audits. The way this district was doing business before is no longer the way we want to, as a board, move forward and continuing to do business the way it was done in the past. By adding a better process and by including the steering committee, unfortunately, the steering committee was not able to convene this week to discuss a lot of and clarify a lot of these things. But any member of the community is more than welcome to contact Mr. Islam directly, contact me as board president or anybody else here at the district for clarification. Ms. Walker is correct. Transparency is a big part of this, and we want to make sure we're doing what's in the best interest of the taxpayers' dollars, and we're doing what's in the best interest of how these Measure Y projects and monies are going to be utilized. In the past, all the windows and all the doors were completely open here at the district for people to come in and do business. We need to close those windows and doors and lock them, and only let the people in that staff and the staff that are qualified can make recommendations on who to choose, and then the steering committee can review it before it comes to the board, as opposed to anything coming to the board and saying, here, sign that, approve that, rubber stamp that. No, we want to make sure the process is, we want to protect our staff members and not have to go through any allegations, people hurling allegations or making accusations of any of the board or anybody at this district. So what we want to do is take the responsibility that before was only limited to a small group of people and now include the steering committee to also take a look at that, and which surprisingly, people raising questions are part of the steering committee. But like I said, that there wasn't the steering committee for whatever reason wasn't able to convene this week. Maybe you guys will convene at the following meeting. But anyone is more than welcome to contact me, contact Mr. Islam. You know, if you have any concerns regarding any of these processes or procedures that we want to improve and change and move forward. Unfortunately, I told Mr. Islam, and it was too late. It was too late if we wanted to anyways. I told Mr. Islam, let's go through with this. Let's just put it on there. Unfortunately, the steering committee didn't get an opportunity to hear all the different changes and the new leadership that Mr. Islam wants to implement. But we got to move forward. These projects can't wait. These schools can't wait. Eisenhower can't wait. Carter can't wait. None of our schools can wait. The kids don't deserve to wait. These projects need to move forward. So we need to start this process, you know, in a timely manner. But I don't appreciate allegations being hurled at me or anybody else here at this of this board or at this district. And we don't need to put our staff on the stand and start asking them exactly how the whole process goes. The board has an obligation to educate ourselves on how we do business here, and there's nothing wrong with reopening this up, letting people apply. By law, we have to let people apply, and including new processes and adding measures to make sure that more than just a few sets of eyes are looking at these projects. So with that said,
I have one other question. If this is approved, if these are approved tonight, when will be the date that they will have to submit proposals, so we have some idea of when we're going to get started?
As soon as it's being approved by the board tonight, that I have a schedule that we will have all the advertisement pieces ready for the publication next week. Perhaps next Wednesday we will put out on the newspaper, and we will put it in our district website under purchasing department and under facility department. And
what's the due date?
We will have to put on the newspaper twice consecutively for 2 weeks, and then we have another week or two for the question, and then 2 weeks later we will receive the submittal and review the proposals.
So this is like 5 or 6 weeks before we even have applications or proposals?
No, I think we can have the application in within 4 weeks.
Okay.
And as a as a part of the improving our process, I'd like to share with the board. In the past, Rialto USD only put add in the local newspaper, one newspaper, and I felt this is disserving the business community who may be interested to do business with us. So I directed my staff to no, you need to put other local newspapers and trade journal. This is a specialized, field. So that also changed in the improving our business process, looking for the best for our projects. So that's also different. What you see changes we're making and going forward.
Mr. Islam, thank you for improving the process.
You're welcome.
President, may I make a motion here?
Yes.
I would like to make a motion to save a little time to loop K1, K2, K3, K4, so we can vote.
Unfortunately, I believe we have to vote individual items for discussion action items, and I believe Mr. Islam even checked with legal counsel on that.
Yes, you're correct, because you have to open and discuss and approve every single item.
We used to do it before all the time, but we have to abide by the rules.
Okay.
So with that, do we have a motion to approve item K1?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item K2, reopen request for proposals and republish a notice inviting requests for proposals for the purpose of securing a larger pool of pre-qualified construction management and or leaseback construction service firms to be utilized for future measure-wise and Series C projects. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Ayala, and thank you, Ms. O'Kelly. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item K3, to reopen request for proposals, RFP, and republish a notice inviting request for proposals for the purpose of securing a larger pool of division of state architect DSA inspection services to be utilized for future Measure Y Series C projects. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. O'Kelly. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item K4, reopen the request for proposals and republish a notice inviting request for proposals for the purpose of securing a larger pool of various pre-qualified engineering consultant service firms to be utilized for future Measure Y Series C projects. Do you have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Ayala.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. O'Kelly. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. K5, reject the bid for bid number 14-15-010 for Carter High School track and field improvement and give authorization to rebid the project. Do we have a motion to approve?
Move to approve, but I have discussion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Ms. O'Kelly?
Well, when I saw this item, I had to stop and say, why does Carter's brand-new track and field need improvement? Whereas Eisenhower still has their old track and field, but we won't talk about that. Anyway, so I asked Mr. Islam, and basically I got an explanation that said that when the stadium was first built back in 2006, the handicapped ramp was built incorrectly. It's supposed to have like a 2% grade, and it did not do that. And so when they came in and did the track and field improvements recently, those people caught that and reported it. And basically what it amounts to is there can't be any other projects at Carter High School until that's fixed. Did I read that correctly?
You're correct.
Okay, so that makes sense. But my point is this. The original people that built that handicapped ramp knew very well what this legal specifications were. And I don't care that a few years have passed. If they built it illegally, to me, they should be held liable for it, and they should have to pay those costs.
Could you explain, Mr. Islam, why the bid is being rejected and why the projects cannot be started or finished there until that's corrected?
Yeah, I will ask Mrs. Chu again come forward. Again, this is something I call discovery. Again, going back 2006, state inspector did not bring the findings or saying there's a compliance issue. Now the inspectors are bringing the issue that this is in the compliance. If you don't fix it, you cannot, going forward, any future project to Carter High School could not be, they will not, state will not approve those projects. So, Ms. Chu, maybe you can extend it on the matter, please.
Good evening again. The reason why we want to recommend the board to reject the bid is because the bid, we get only one bidder this time, and the bid was $100,000 over the architect estimate. We are very much aware that architect estimate may not be off the mark, but I think this is almost 50% above architect estimate. So we feel we have better chance if we can bid again and actively ask a lot of contractor we worked with before to bid the project.
This brings up my main point about this item and several other items in the past. This board needs more information in the agenda write-ups. You could have explained about the handicapped access, because why should a brand new track and field need improvement? That right there brings questions, and then explain why you want us to rebid it. To just ask us to approve something for improvements to track and field is not going to cut it. Question.
Agree.
Question. Was the original company who was in charge of construction, were they ever given a notice that there was a default in the ramp? Because that would have started the statute of limitations. I believe it's like 7 years. So if they were notified in 2006, it would have ran out. But if they weren't notified, then like Ms. O'Kelly says, we might have
Right, they should have to
recourse here.
fix their mistakes. So I think before we do anything, we need to investigate that and see whatever was done about it at the time, whatever paperwork there is, and if the people who saw it, what they did about it.
By the fact that the project was certified by DSA a few years ago, I would think that the citation or notice didn't happen.
So state, let me be clear what Ms. Chu is referring to. State sign off this project as a satisfied with all the requirement, and they did not citing these findings by their own under their own rules and guidelines. Why is happening now? We don't. I can give you that answer. Again, these are different inspectors. The fact of the matter, I direct my staff as your concern is the same as my concern. Who is the party involved 2006? I wasn't here in 2006. That doesn't matter. I want to go back to the source.
Right.
What can I do and hold them accountable? I told Mrs. Chu, look at the legal requirement, look at the timeline, contractors and the construction management company. I'm working on it, board. I will bring the report to you. Your concern is the same as my
Well,
concern.
should we pull this item then until we have that information?
No,
you don't.
This is just to reject the bid.
Oh,
The
okay.
you heard
that was
the
previously approved.
we get only one bid and it exceeded the estimate.
Okay,
So
got
we want to go back again. So these are two separate issues.
yeah, right.
But we like to approve this tonight. So we did go back again.
All right.
Get the bid with the right amount within the budget.
Okay.
Thank you. It's very important that we make sure we get highly qualified and effective.
We'll notify the people we work with before who did a good job for the district before, invite them to bid.
Well,
Yeah,
you know,
I'll also invite them to talk
Yeah.
about the issue.
you know, because when you think about this, we're paying a lot of money,
Mm-hmm.
and if you've made a mistake, you need to own up to it, regardless whether or not the statute of limitations existed or not. And if they don't want to help us with something like this, and now we got 10 people on a list that are willing to do the work, maybe the people who are willing to help us when we have problems are the ones that get a higher priority. I don't know, but it just seems like that was something that should have been caught.
Right.
And
It's not just, it's an illegal matter.
and now we're in
They're
a
not
bind.
meeting the,
Well, it's not illegal. It was.
well, it's
it
against
was a
the American
court-
Disabilities Act.
And not only
It's-
that,
it's
we can't move
non-compliant,
forward on
non-compliant.
projects.
Okay, all right.
We can't move
I like
forward on
illegal
projects.
better.
So that's disturbing. So, if they're not willing to rectify the situation just because they got an approval, I still don't think it's right.
I would go so far as invite the original firm to cure and correct
Yes.
at their cost. Not that they would, but I don't want to make the name public. That way we could not get sued.
Yeah.
But I would say let's put them at the end of the list and not use them if we can help it.
There you go.
Because if they're not going to correct this,
Yep.
they're not stand up
Yeah.
in the eyes of the public, I'd say. And I'm speaking as a taxpayer now.
We're in a bind here.
Yeah, board. What I'm leading this. I'm hearing your concerns, the same as mine. I'm going to explore all legal options we have under the law, and go engage the firms, construction company, and other players going back 2006, and also we have to look at what we failed to do or did at that time. I don't know that part, as administrations. Is that part of the scope of the project? Is that was built in the contract that they have to do this? I don't know. So there's a lot of things I cannot report to you tonight, but I will glad to bring you back to you at a later date once I get all the facts and clear my mind. And I have to report back to you.
Okay. I think we're ready to vote on that one.
All right, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I had, okay, number 6.
Item K6, approve an agreement with PCH Architects LLP as the architectural firm for the new boardroom project at the former District Registration Center, DRC, located at 260 South Willow Avenue. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved, but I have discussion.
Do we have a second? Okay, take it away, Ms. O'Kelly.
Okay, this is sort of like my solar energy question, because, okay, this is exciting. We're going to get a new big boardroom and whatever. And this agreement is just for the architect's fees, correct? Well, after the architects are finished, what funding, what money is going to be used to actually build this new boardroom and complete it? And how much is the estimated cost?
I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's a conversion, right? It's not building of it.
Not building, but they have to build the inside of it.
Yeah, it's not a building it from the ground up. It's
You're correct. It's
Convert-
just you are.
converting the former registration center.
You're
part of
correct.
it, right?
You're correct. The building is there, so we are not starting building ground up. It's just remodeling, converting into a boardroom, as you see, as how we conducting business as a Rialto USD. Our community has been growing over the years, and I brought that issue to you a long time ago, and you support this project because we have existing facilities sitting there unused, and it's the best location for our conducting your board meeting, and now we are going forward, and you're correct, President Montez. We're not. It is some remodeling, converting into a boardroom. I'll turn over to Mrs. Chu. Could you please?
What's the
explain?
estimated cost of the remodeling, and what funding will it be paid out of?
This is something that district has to pay out of general fund.
General fund, yeah.
The architect estimated about $500,000-$600,000, including the furniture. This is construction cost, and this type of project, because it's interior it's like tenant improvement. We have interior big space. We have to remove some partitions here and there, and to make sure that we have enough toilet room facilities and good parking spaces to accommodate 200, 250 people. The space can accommodate with free seating, not fixed seating. The budget has to come from general fund, but we are starting with the design, was at least to get some idea. We're looking at state-of-the-art electronic equipment in this future boardroom, monitors, cameras, electronic voting devices, display, and so on and so forth. It's going to be very nice.
Well, I'm sure it is. I know previously we had discussed turning the West Wing into a boardroom. What has happened to that idea?
I believe it. As you know, we having a challenge finding a space conducting our day-to-day business. We, because of the business process, we're trying to improve, and with ALCAP itself, with the community engagement, we don't have to meeting places. So West Wing, it's not a space-wise, it's not a big enough to converting in the boardroom and bring our community coming as we see every board meeting. We have a large community members come to our board meeting, and it's a community meeting, your meeting, the board. So I don't believe that West Wing is the best place for converting as a boardroom, because that space also used by the community members for different meeting. I see last night the Parent Teacher Association is conducting business there. So we provide those space for them also to engage the businesses. So it's not a big enough for moving from this location to West Wing. If West Wing is then next to this location, I would say then we can expand the space. So it's not a big enough making your as a boardroom. It's a small space.
Well, does the general budget, can they afford $500,000?
We have to, again, if this is the priority of the districts, that conducting our business is affecting our community and you as a governing board, the decision is we have to make, and with your approval, we'll move forward. We have not, again, we have to allocate the money for that purposes. It's just the need of the districts, how we're doing business versus how we should be doing business, and how we serve better to our community and our
well, just another comment is if we decide to do this, that you need to really improve the lighting down there at the district. That's a very dark place down there at night.
You're correct, and this is all going to come with the project, total project, parking, lighting, providing more space for more community members. Could be inside the room, not another room, listening in a board meeting. I assume many parents don't come because we don't have a space available. They're probably sitting home and watching your board meeting. I mean, it's possible. I mean, that's I heard many parents made a statement. But the fact of the matter is, it's your decision. If you, again, any things we're going to improve, they're going to be costs associated to that improvement.
Right.
And as we look at our existing facility and how we conducting business, we're looking for improvement in every way possible. And so of course, there will be costs associated to those improvements.
I believe the board approved last year, correct? The board approved to look into doing the switch, moving the district boardroom from here to the facility over there.
You're correct. This discussions is going way back when we started.
I just have to agree with Mr. Islam that logistically it would be more beneficial to our district to have a nice size boardroom. It's unfortunate that we have to have people sitting in a separate room watching on a TV screen the board meetings when we're right here. Unfortunately, we can't accommodate the community to sit here and be present, and it's not the same. I mean, if you're going to watch it in the next room, it's almost like watching it at home. But the other benefactors is that the fire department and the police department are right across the street. Our own safety security officers have their headquarters on the same site. We have a registration center that was fully operable some years back, but it's no longer being used, so there's space there that's not being utilized. And then City Hall's right across the street also. It makes sense to have the board meetings in the center, in the heart of the city, close to the other local government agency, close to not only our safety and security, but also to the other law enforcement agencies. But I do want to say that if cost is something we need to consider in regards to maybe putting this on hold or waiting for a better time where we can use those funds a little more freely, then that's something the board, should consider as well. Are we ready for something like this, or would it be better to wait until better times?
If it's open for discussion, I would just like to ask the public, if you do not want us to spend this kind of money on a facility to make it easier for you to attend meetings, please let us know. Simple as that, because we serve the public. And if they wish to sit in the same room, which we've had many requests, as you know, then we should entertain this. We have space, it's available. It's only gonna cost more in the future.
Yes.
So, unless the public says, hold everything, I'd say let's go.
I just want to make it clear that Measure Y funds cannot be touched for this.
Correct.
You're correct. We're not.
That money is for the school sites.
Absolutely, you're absolutely correct, Mrs. O'Kelly. We're not banking on Measure Y money.
Okay.
You heard even the items speak where it says general fund. So
Well-
we have to allocate money for this project if board desire to go move on with this project.
And then that as our money guy, so to speak, our budget can sustain this kind of expenditure.
We will allocate the money, yes. Answer is yes. The reason I'm saying yes, the timing-wise, we can keep on deferring this project. We started this discussion almost a year ago. We put on a hold due to the budget not knowing what's going to happen to local control funding formula, how much money we're going to receive. I think timing, if you ask me, I would say this is now is the right time to do this.
Discussion.
We call for, you're still.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll get there. No, go ahead.
Okay. We, to my understanding, we're still on deficit spending, and we have staff and needs of our people to make sure they're a priority because they help our kids. This is coming out of the general fund, which makes it more difficult for us to take care of staff. And if we're still in deficit spending, it may not be the wisest thing to pursue. That's my comment, so I'll leave it at that.
Excellent point.
I just would like to point out that I have to agree. Maybe we should really analyze the expenditure and how it will affect other, other work and other things that the money could be used for. But I do want to say that the expansion of a new boardroom is for the community. It's not for the superintendent, it's not for the board members, it's for the community. There's no reason why this boardroom should not be 3, 4, 5 times as big like our other school districts, our neighboring school districts, where they can actually hold the community there and have the amenities that are required for people with disabilities and whatnot, access. I mean, we've all seen it here. It's hard probably from people watching at home to see, but we see how cramped it can be in here, and sometimes it's even. I know the safety and security is always keeping an eye, because even there, when it gets really crowded, they're just looking around, making sure everybody's safe, and it's a little bit difficult to do, in such a restrained room. But that's all I have to say. So. Does anybody else before we call for the question?
I think the parents would love to sit in the same room and see their kids get awards.
Not be out in the hallway and all that.
Well, keep in mind, we did it before by going to the schools. And we have those opportunities still, and we don't have to spend a dime.
That's true.
I would just like to say that in reference to this, because this was just the agreement around the architectural firm, not the projected out cost from our staff, that we actually do the projected out cost. Great point to bring up. If our constituents, our families, our community are not in favor of moving forward with that, then we need to put it on. It needs to be an agendized item with the correct budget and the timeline of when it looks that the project will occur, which then we'll know what fiscal year those funds will come out of. So that we'll know in real time what that means for the money in reference to our district. Otherwise, it's exercise of futility right now. So what we can do, again, approving an agreement right now is fine. It still doesn't talk about the longevity of the project and what happens with the outcomes of that.
That's what
so my recommendation is that we remove this. We don't vote on this or remove it, today, only because we need some more information about the entirety of the project to go from there.
Well said. You have a steering committee that can be utilized for this project too.
Definitely, yes. Yeah, and as we're working on the moving with our budget plan for next year. Of course, we carefully are going to monitor deficit spending and fiscal solvency is our fiduciary responsibility to make sure we sustain that, not only going forward next year for required 3 years, so as the state required it is 3 years. So anything we plan, we can't jeopardize our fiscal solvency and deficit spending. So that has to be carefully planned to building next year or going forward. So I like your idea. Maybe we can bring this into our steering committee dialogue, because we have the parents there, we have the stakeholders there. If they are in favor, then I'd like to bring it back. So at this time, I would say let's pull it.
Right.
All right. Do we have a motion to pull item K6?
So moved.
Do we have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Item K7, approve the use of California Multiple Award Schedule, CMAS bid number 414-58-0074A and 308-702515A for the 2014-2015 fiscal year. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item K8, approve an agreement with Staff Therapy Rehab to provide 3 speech language pathologist assistants effective February 26, 2015 through June 30th, 2015. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Rod. Thank you, Mr. Martinez. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item K9, approve the Board of Education meeting schedule for the 2015-2016 school year. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. O'Callaghan. Thank you, Mr. Martinez. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item K10, approve the 2015-2016 school student calendar. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item K11, the Rialto Unified School District Board of Education votes for the following as delegates to the California School Board Association Delegate Assembly. And I believe the 6 candidates named here from Needles Unified School District, Lucerne Valley Unified School District, Silver Valley Unified School District, Hesperia Unified School District, Central Elementary School District, and Chaffey Joint Union High School District. Does anybody oppose the candidates chosen?
Just discussion.
Okay.
There's only 6 candidates for 6 positions, so it's a no-brainer move forward.
Right.
But I do wish to point out that the one from Chaffey, Charles J. U. Haley, I had spoke with him at the Academic Decathlon Awards dinner, and he just got voted in for about his 10th or 11th session. So he's been a board member for over 40 years.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Nerves of steel.
Do we have a first? Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, on to section L, comments from the interim superintendent.
Thank you, President Montez. A few announcements. Our Trapp Elementary School is going to celebrate their 50th anniversary on Wednesday, March 4th, 2015 at 4 p.m. Please join with our staff and students at the school. I hope we plan to attend this event. I send you the schedule. Our Rialto High School is scheduled for the WASC visitations, which is a schedule beginning Sunday, March 1st, 2015, through Wednesday, March 4th. Board members are requested to attend on Sunday. The scheduled time 2:45 to 3:15 p.m. And on March 4th, during their exit, they requested to you present 3:10 p.m. to 3:40 p.m. I'll send this reminder to you on Friday again, so you'll have a schedule. But this is schedule, I send it to you on January 23rd. Maybe it's too early, so I plan to send you a reminder again. So I don't want you just overly concerned that you're going to miss this. But I hope to see you there because my superintendent cabinet and other staff member will also going to be there. I'll be there. Other event, you had the flyer. Our Rialto USD Music Festival is currently going on. We started on the 23rd of February. You have only 2 days left, which is February 26th and 27th, which is tomorrow and Thursday. The scheduled time of this is festival 8:30 to 3 p.m. at Kusera Middle School. Please don't miss this outstanding event. You'll enjoy and you'll see our talents, our students, their performance. I was there. I know Mrs. O'Callaghan, you were there. So if you can plan to attend, please be there. And I know school will appreciate our student. We'll love to see you there. The next event, we have Dad's Night is scheduled for Friday, March 6th at 5:30 p.m. at our Professional Development Center. It is at 5:30 p.m., which is Friday, March 6th. Other event we had last week, our Science and Engineering Fair at Rialto Middle School. It was a great event, great success. I know Mrs. Vice President Mr. Kelly was there, and Board Member Mr. Martinez was there, and it was a great event. You'll be proud of our students, their talent, what they display during the fair. The next event last Sunday, we had a Black History Month celebrations. It was a great success. We had a large committee members who were present. I thank Mrs. O'Callaghan, Vice President Mr. O'Callaghan was there, and Board Member Clark also was present. Thank you being there with those events. I think it's the community and students and parents really highly appreciate. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Islam. Next, we go on to comments from members of the board. And we'd like to start with Ms. Marisol Angulo.
Thank you. I would first like to congratulate all of the honorees and people from Eisenhower and Rialto High School for the academic decathlon. And also, I would like to give thanks to Mr. Hardy Brown for hosting us, the DSAC students, earlier in the month. We had at Rialto High School a Black History Month celebration that lasted all week last week, and we had Miss Walker come speak, and I would like to thank her for that. And we have WASP beginning Sunday, and I hope to see you all there on Sunday. I'll be there too. Thank you.
Thank you, Marisol. Next, I would like to go to Mr. Board Member Mr. Martinez.
Thank you, President Montez. I just want to say how proud I am of the Classified Employees of the Year. We're always proud of our staff, our family, but it's not often that that one gets a certificate and recognition at a board meeting. So thank you for CSEA always attending, REA and CWA. And the managers, well, even though you're not
they're still
an
at work.
association as such, yes, we'll try and get you to bed before midnight. But I greatly appreciate each one of you because I've seen your faces more than once, some of you more than once this week. So the public has no idea how busy staff really is. And if they're a little tired looking or grumpy looking, they're not tired of looking after your kiddos. We're not tired of it. We're always ready. Sometimes they get away from us because we are tired and grumpy. And speaking for myself. Hardy Brown, it's a name you've heard more than once. He's doing great things with the position at the county. And I asked him, and he just kind of shied away from it, but I think there was an honorary doctorate bestowed upon him. So see if he'll respond to Dr. Hardy Brown. And then John Gaiety, rep for Cheryl Brown, Assemblywoman. She can't attend, but he's usually here. And, you know, just the usual faces. Appreciate you all. I know you could be in bed or, you know, at home falling asleep in front of the TV. Thank you for holding our feet to the fire. Thank you for your additional guidance. And Iris, we'll move your chair over here, closer to the mic. Thank you, President Montez.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Next on to Board Member Mr. Ayala.
Well, thank you, President Montes. I want to pick up where we left off with the presentation that we had earlier. I was reading through it, and it had an area in there where it said focus on strengths of the kids. And that's a good way to look at things. And another way of looking at it is, you know, if your child doesn't have a passion, a lot of times it's hard to smile. If all you're doing is work and you're not really excited about what you're doing, it's hard to smile. So if your child's not smiling, have a talk with them. If they don't know why they're smiling, then experiment a little bit. You know, maybe take them out with for a little ice cream, but they need exposure, you know, and sometimes it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be, you know, a task that's very, very important. It's just something simplistic that sparks the enthusiasm of the child. Because what's going to happen is that eventually that child is going to meet other children with the same interests, and that's when the magic starts. The kids find friends. They find somebody to validate what they're doing. So I know I have a lot of grandkids, and I try to do whatever I can to keep them motivated, keep them happy, keep them smiling, and we're here to serve you, and thank you for the opportunity to share a few words. Oh, one more thing. You know, one of our teachers came up tonight and requesting an opportunity to share some of his thoughts. I thought that was good. That's right along with communication, okay? So I hope, Mohammed, we can find ways to follow up on that and hear this man. He represents a big voice, and just like the parents, they need to be heard, and maybe they'll send up a resolution that we can vote on. Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ayala. Next, we go on to our board clerk, Mrs. Dina Walker.
Ms. So I'd just like to say, first of all, just thank you for everybody. Again, we're almost at 10 o'clock. Just to be steadfast and here with us as we move through our board meeting and our business for our district into perfecting our district for our students. So one of the things I just want everybody to know and understand that even when I ask questions as a board member, it is because I need clarity. Mm-hmm. It is not because I am undermining or you know, don't feel I'm confident in the staff or anything. I need clarity. Right. I tell my kids anything, even when they're cutting up and doing things, I say, if you tell me all the facts, then I know how to deal with it. You know, and so I know how to move forward from that. And so I have to ask questions. If I'm not given the information ahead of time to do that, I have to ask questions. So I commend the staff, though, and I say that because I'm here and I'm tired now. This is already, you know, it's 10, you know. And I'm just thinking about all the meetings and events I've been through for Rialto Unified, not to mention my kids' events and my job. And I'm just thinking about all the faces that I've seen at the events that I've been at, you know, right. And so I'm just saying I commend everybody because this is hard work. It really is. And so thank you for just staying with us and doing everything. You know, even Nancy, we've been out and, you know, it's just crazy. And so, yeah, so I just think about it. And so this is really a retiree's job. So, really. So, anyway, I commend the staff and everybody on our board for the work that we do you and the students. I'm going to the students now because I'm so excited about what they presented tonight. Tonight I was able to hear the best of all kind of groups of our students. We heard about the sports, our kids going on to CIF. We heard about the arts with the putting on the Ritz, and we were just at our Black History event where the students, all kinds of artistic showcases. We talked the science fair, right? They got the Casera Music Festival going on. I mean, and then to cap it off with our decathlon, this is the best of academics in our county. I mean, wow, this is what we're talking about, a holistic district.
Right.
And we can do that. We can incorporate all of those things. They don't have to be pockets of excellence in these one school or one department or whatever. It has to be all the time, everywhere, and it really can be. And tonight was just an example, an exhibition of that. And so, again, Rialto, we have it in us. We definitely have it in us. We just need to keep working everything to get it so that we're all not in the silo, but we're all working together and making sure that everybody has those opportunities to be a participant. Parent Institute, I was able to speak at the Parent Institute this past week again as well, and just the compliments on the staff, that what they do to make sure that parents get information that they need as well. And I would just give accolades again to that staff for Rhonda and Monica. And just really, we work really hard for our families here. And then the last thing, the LCAP meeting we had yesterday, and we were in there for like 2.5, almost 3 hours, and still have work to do, but it was a really engaging meeting, and I just encourage everybody in the viewing audience as well to be engaged. March 3rd and 4th, we're having our LCAT community meeting, so don't miss those. We need your voice, need your input. We want to see you there. And again, thank you for having me as a board member. I'm enjoying it. Tired, but I'm enjoying it. Oh, goodness.
You go, girl.
That's a tired class.
Right, yeah, that's okay.
Vice President, Miss Nancy O'Kelly.
Well, thank you all for still being here. Actually, this is kind of early for us. I have had so much fun lately, and I have been running around all over. I went on a school visit to Kolb and was really impressed with the appearance of the campus and what I saw going on in the classrooms, and the number of excellent programs that Kolb has added to there. They have STEM, they have AVID, they have like a video art on the computer, they have all kinds of really cool stuff going on at Kolb. They also publish an excellent newspaper called the Kolb Kaleidoscope. You know, it's a student-driven newspaper, but they do a really good job and really tell what's going on at their school. I would like to add that I know I keep telling the principals to let Saida and Ricardo know the positive things going on in their schools, because we want to know that as a board. So I'm hoping that they will take me up on that. Most of them have or will, and so we can start. We need to hear all the we can't be everywhere, so we need to hear about it. I also attended with the Science Fair Awards night, and wow, looking at these science projects, these kids tackled some really tough concepts, and I was so proud of all of them. Some of them, it's so funny when they're shaking your hands. The younger ones, they just look down and they don't even want to look at you. But they did an amazing job, and there was a company called Veolia, and they provide innovative energy solutions for water and waste. And they came and they talked about how impressed they were with the whole science fair, and they handed out $1,500 in scholarships to some of the winning students who dealt with those topics in their reports. So I thought that was really cool. They also told the kids, we want you working for us in the future. So that's very hopeful. I went to, the Black History Celebration. Hosted by the Parent Center. This is the second annual Black History Celebration, and it was phenomenal both years. They held it in the cafeteria at Eisenhower, and the room was packed, and they had some good food and wonderful student performances. This year it started off with a very dramatic performance, which actually brought me to tears and made my mascara run. But it was Martin Luther King's, basically it was his last conversation with his wife the day before he was killed, and it was really, really moving, and gosh, gave me the chills. But they did, the Parent Center did an excellent job with that activity, and I hope it continues. We had several student performances that were also awesome. And then I've got little notes I was writing to myself, all stapled together. I also went and visited Cusera Middle School, had a wonderful trip, saw excellent lessons, and attended the District Music Festival, which was in the cafeteria. So I was able to go down there and hear 3 bands, and that was, I mean, not 3 bands, 3 choral groups that day. I'm hoping to get back there tomorrow and see a couple of the bands, but I thought that was, the music festival is amazing. And again, it reinforces the talent we have in this district. And last night I attended Cub Scout Troops 103 Blue and Gold Banquet. My children were involved in Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts growing up, and wonderful organizations. My son achieved the rank of Eagle Scout, which, if you don't know, that's as high as you can go. And it was a wonderful event, and with great food, and I was so excited. These are just the Cub Scouts. These are the little guys. And we were at St. Catherine's in the Fellowship Hall, and Mr. Montes was there, and there were a ton of kids that are involved in Scouts in this town, and that's wonderful news for all of us. So, been an exciting week, and my calendar's already packing up for March. So, love this time of year because there's never a dull moment. Thank you all, and we will see you next time.
Thank you, Vice President Ms. Nancy O'Kelly. All right. Well, first of all, good evening, everybody that's still here. I'm going to make it short. We need to go back into closed session. But with that, I just wanted to mention also for people at home, please don't forget to get your tickets for putting on the Ritz. For the many people that have never attended the Ritz, I know there's some people that go every year, like Ms. Gilbert, she's never missed one. But for people who haven't had an opportunity to go, you know, it's really an awesome event, and it's for the kids, and it's by the kids, and it's there's nothing better than to see them shining up on that stage. The other thing I wanted to also mention is Ms. Kelly's right. Cub Scouts invited. I wasn't expecting anybody else. I thought I was the only one invited to the Cub Scouts Blue and Gold, but according to them, they invited all the board, and it was nice to see the little tigers and the little bears and all the other rankings that they have in the Cub Scouts of America. And actually, the director there, or the was it Cub Master?
Cub Master.
The Cub Master is one of our information technology guys, Steve. And I think that's awesome that you know he does that with the for the kids. The other thing I wanted to also mention was try to make it to the 50th anniversary for Trapp Elementary. Unfortunately, I couldn't attend Boyd's. I believe Boyd had theirs last year. I heard it was really awesome event. You know, a lot of people that grew up here, a lot of people that still live here. You know, these schools mean a lot to them. They have a lot of good memories. You know, a lot of good times, good educations, good productive people have come from our schools. So it means a lot to many people. So for those that can make it, try to make it out there. I wanted to give a small update regarding the superintendent search. I know some people have been contacting board members and school staff wanting to inquire information or updates regarding the superintendent search. And basically, for those who don't know, a community forum meeting was held on February 12th. It was over at I believe at the PDC, the Cesar Chavez Dolores Huerta Center for Education, and it's my understanding that they had a pretty successful forum. Different members of the community were given time to speak with the search firm representatives, different groups within the district, different groups pertaining to the city were able to attend and offer input. And they even offered to come back and do a second community forum if necessary, I believe on March 9th. So it's my understanding that if they see the need to come back to do a second forum, they're willing to do so, which is nice of them. Just wanted to give some key dates. We're not going to we can maybe have the search firm come at a later board meeting to give a community update. But I just wanted to give some key dates to keep in mind. The close of recruitment period will be March 16th, 2015, with the final background checks continuing, and then review of candidates by the board on April 6th. And then 2 to 3 hours of board time will be required that day. Final interviews will be April 15th. So those are just to give the community an idea of the time frame. But if you really have any specific questions or want information, please contact the search firm themselves. They're called Leadership Associates. They have a website, and I believe we even have a survey online that people can fill out. But as far as staff and board members, it's really out of our hands, and the search firm has been hired to help us with this.
Can I just add one thing?
Go ahead.
It's really totally inappropriate to approach board members regarding the superintendent search, because the board makes the final decision and shouldn't be influenced in any way by anybody. So please do not do that. Thank you.
And then the last thing I just wanted to say is we're making tremendous progress. We have a lot of work to do here at our district. Those of us that have been here for some time, if not longer, we all know that we've got a lot of work to do. But where we are today is I believe is a step forward, is many steps forward, and I believe we're heading in the right direction. It's really unfair to compare us to anybody that was here in the past, or it's even unfair to anybody in the past. We're making tremendous improvements. Mr. Islam does, I do believe in given credit where it's due, and Mr. Islam has been a part of helping this district and helping the Board of Education on the path to improvement, on the path of moving forward. So I want to thank him for that, and just want to say that, we're here for the community, so feel free to contact me. At least I don't mind. I get calls all the time, every day, all day. This really is a job for a retiree, Mrs. Walker. But with that, thank you, and we're going to go back into closed session.
Do we have to move to go back into closed session? Yeah. Do we have to make a motion to go back into closed session?
Do we have a motion to go back into closed session?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
They have songs and show tunes. You're like, oh God.
That should be a theme song. Really? Okay. Maybe we are going to be short. We need to go over.
All 5 of us are here.
Okay. Do we have anything to report out of closed session?
Yes, President, Mr. Montes, I do. In closed session, Board of Education accepted the administrative appointment of Leonard Buckner, Coordinator, Child Welfare and Attendance, effective March 2nd, 2015. The roll call vote was 5-0. Next item in closed sessions, Board of Education denied the request for an extension of leave of absence for classified employee number 1712625. The roll call vote was 5-0. That's all.
No. Do we have anything?
okay.
Do we have anything else before we make a motion to adjourn?
None.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the time is 10:48.